Hi, I'm grateful, and welcome to another episode, another section on my pilgrimage of love. In this video, I'm going to talk about why is love important. You know, I keep hearing all the time, love will bring the world together, the world needs love, things like this, yet what do you mean? Why is it important? How will love bring the world together? You know, maybe by coming up with an answer of what love is, we can better understand that. So in this video, let's go over why love is important. Now, one of the things just generally I'll throw out there that I've heard is this idea where babies who are not held or loved, you know, from the beginning, it can bring dire consequences to them. I can't say whether they actually die. I just know that there is negative repercussions in their development when they aren't held and, as people call it, loved. Yet is that really love? Now, there's a difference when we talk about humans. There's a big difference when we talk about age 1 to 5, because from age 1 to 5, a child is developing 80% of everything they know, how they're going to think. There's so much that goes into that, so we're not going to be talking about that. Then there's the development of children. When they come into the realm, they learn their identity, you know, all of that stuff, you know, where love is all this fresh new stuff. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why love is important to adults, because I'm guessing that's mostly who's watching this video. And so, why is love important? Do we need love? That's the first question we need to ask here. Now, one of my teachers a long time ago told me that all we need in life is to breathe and die. And I've actually come up with a third one I'll mention right at the end of this here. Now, we need to die. No matter what we do, we are going to die. We can prolong it by staying healthy, by eating healthy, by exercising, doing so many things, stay as safe as we can, and yet we're going to die. It's a need of the humans. Now, breathing, we need to breathe. And while most people go, well, duh, we don't need to eat. Let me explain. With breathing, I can sit here and hold my breath, and if I'm really determined, I can hold it, and eventually I'll pass out. And then I'll start just naturally breathing again. Got a little lightheaded there. That's because we need to breathe. It's an automatic thing that our body does. Now, eating, we can stop eating. I can just sit here, and people have done hunger fasts and they have died. Because even though there's the growling of the stomach, the pains, all of that stuff that comes into it, I have gone 40 days without eating, so I understand fasting. Yet, we can hold out until we die. So you do not need to eat. Drinking, it's the same thing. You can sit next to water, you can be thirsty and everything, yet you can resist to the point where you will die. There's nothing naturally that the human body is going to do that it just all of a sudden triggers in and drives yourself to the water. No, it doesn't do that. So we only need to breathe and die. The third one I was going to mention I've been looking into is sleep, because I can sit here and keep my eyes open, and long as I don't have anything that restricts me to stay open, like with the breathing, yes, I could put my hand over my face or start to choke myself or do it with, you know, some other means, yet that's not natural. It is even if I put my hand on my face, it'll eventually fall away. With the sleeping, if I do naturally everything I can to stay awake, jump up and down and everything, eventually I'm going to fall asleep. So there's that one there. Love. Do we really need it? Now, let's go into something called Maslow's Hierarchy of Human Needs. And I can't remember exactly when this gentleman came up with this. It was a pyramid of human needs. The first level in the hierarchy of human needs is personal survival. And this is food, drink, and shelter. Now, if we look at the homeless, they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that they can get something to eat, something to drink, and something over their head for shelter. These are the primary needs that we as human needs to just get by. And let me tell you, when I hiked 1,000 miles on the trail, I had food, I had water, I had shelter, and I was happy and peppy because that's all I needed at that time. Now, when you come to the second level of the hierarchy of human needs, that is personal safety. And let me tell you, when you're out hiking on the trail, the first thing that comes up after, how do I get my backpack together, shoes, all that stuff, it's personal safety they're worried about. What about bears? What about other humans? When we go to the homeless people, safety is the first thing that they will do. I've heard stories where they'll go and they'll find a place to camp that's just way away from, anyone where they won't find them. There's many different things they'll do for their personal safety, including on the trail. You got to make sure you're safe. That's the only thing other than whatever, I just made sure there's no bears or anything like that. After that level, which is level 2, there comes in a sense of belonging or acceptance, and that happened out on the trail where you would meet other people and you'd want to start hiking with them, and it just felt so good to hike with them. You felt accepted, you felt part of the family. With the homeless, you see this where they will kind of band together, and even though there's problems in homeless camps, they're doing it to kind of be with those homeless people, and there's a bit of security, a bit of belonging, a bit of other. It's a tribal mentality. Then comes level 4. Now understand, the first 3 levels are not much difference between man and animal. Level 1, the animal will get what it needs to eat, it'll get water, it'll get shelter. Number 2, the animal's going to take care of itself, defend itself, and protect itself. Number 3, animals look for packs, tribes to kind of go and band together. You hear of lions and dogs doing this. Level 4 is where we start separating from the animals, yet there is a bit, and that is self-esteem for ourselves and others. And with animals, you will get the leader of the pack, and that has to do with the continuation of the tribe and that sort of stuff. Yet, it's a little bit different. With humans, we do it if we're in a tribal situation because you want to be the leader of the pack. There's more advantage to being the leader. If we're going to just tribal, there's, the better women, the better food, the better shelter, better all of that stuff. Then you get into the self-esteem for yourself. This is also at level 4. This can go 2 ways. This can go egotistical, where you are the leader of the tribe and your ego for just yourself, or this is where the need of love and acceptance comes in, is where you're looking for acceptance for yourself. And this is where I believe the love part comes into it. After level 4 comes self-actualization, and this is where you as yourself, you see yourself and you want to start self-actualizing, recreating yourself. And the first way we do this is we find a partner. And if you haven't gone to level 4 and really accepted yourself in a good way, unfortunately most people go seeking a partner to fill that need. So there's a little bit going on there, but just let's go back to the hierarchy of human needs. Level 5 is self-actualization, where we want to bring a mate in. Then there's also we want to reproduce children in our own image. Then we want to reproduce our skills and ability and use those talents that we have. Then part of that is also our goals. We want to use our talents and abilities we have to achieve our goals. And this is this whole step of self-actualization. You do not need to have a partner in this level. You do not need to have children in this level. You can on your own feel good about yourself, accept yourself, and say, I'm going to use the talents and skills I have, which I'm doing right now on my own, to recreate and build something of myself. And that is level 5. Level 6. This is where you use your talents and skills, and you maybe have built a business, yet you want to go further with this. Now you want to take your skills and everything you are actualizing, you want to give back. It's almost like a circle where you would like to give back to those, and this is just one example, those who are coming in at level 1 who really need, food, shelter, water, those things, self-actualization and transcending of yourself. Level 6 would be to help those people or help the world around you. That is Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. Self-survival, self-safety, sense of security and acceptance, self-esteem of others and yourself, self-actualization, and transcending beyond yourself. The one thing I want you to notice in Maslow's hierarchy of human needs is how the desire for acceptance of others and yourself is above self-actualization. It's actually higher than wanting a partner, children, creating a business, or anything. That desire for acceptance is greater than all of that. This is where I believe the love and the need of love comes in. If we look at acceptance and love, there it is. A need to love yourself and belong in a community and be accepted in a community is greater than wanting to have children and family and partner. That's pretty big. Now, let's look at love through the ages with theories. And what's fascinating is I saw this on a TED Talk. It was a cartoon they made on YouTube, and there was 5 different people they brought forward, and they just put them. What I went back and looked at is how much love had changed through the ages and how it fit in with the time. So let's take a look at these different theories of love through time. First, we have Buddha. Buddha was back there at 6 to 4 BCE. And what he said was, love is a misleading affection. And the reason for that was he also had this idea that all desire leads to suffering. So if you have a desire for love, there's going to be suffering in that. Let's go on now to Plato. He was in 300 BCEs. Plato said, love makes us whole again. And his idea was, he told a story where creatures roamed the earth and they had 4 arms, 4 legs, and 2 faces. And there was a time where they angered the gods cut them in half, and so from that time on they roamed the earth looking to rejoin, to become one and whole, and they did that through love. So the idea there is we seek another to make ourselves whole. It's about the end of the 1700s, the 1800s, the end of the Victoria era, a time which was a bit prudish. And there was a German philosopher, Arthur Schroffheimer, and he maintained love that was a sexual desire for voluptuous illusion. Love tricks us into having babies. Now, think about that time. I said it was during the Victorian time. Love is prudish. And so he was looking at it just simply as the chemical desire that draws so many people quickly together, and they just have sex and boom, there's babies. And so he, during that time, came up with the theory of love makes babies. So see how we've changed from love is suffering. We have next one is love makes us whole. Now we have love is for babies. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Now we're coming into a time where we're becoming aware of the human mind and a little bit of what's going on there, and we're understanding it. This is around the end of the 1800s into the 1900s, 1970. This is Bernard Russell. He studied philosophy, mathematics, and logic. And what he said was, love is an escape from our loneliness. He basically was saying love helps bring us out of our shell. It's when we seek others through love, when we find someone, it sparks us. It brings us out of our shell. It can bring us out of our loneliness. It can bring us out of whatever is holding us all in. And so that's his idea, that love can bring us out, which is a little bit different than Buddha's, which is saying don't do it because love can bring suffering. And the final one I want to go through here, and it's a bit different than Bertrand Russell, and this is the view from a woman, and she was, about the same time, but she went into the 1986, and her view was that love is something that should bring two people together to continue helping us learn, to grow. She saw a problem with traditional romantic love in that it was, captive, so it's fascinating to hear this from the female view, and I can see it too. You get with love, romantic love, it starts pulling us in. It can be dependence on each other, can become negative, whereas she looked at love as two people learning about each other, growing from each other, learning about ourselves through another person. Yes, there can, and I highly encourage the romantic love, yet understanding this other side of the romantic or the love that happens from accepting each other and going deep each other and learning about each other and the world around us through another person. To wrap this all up, love brings people together even in tough times. As long as we are social creatures and we have that need to bond, like in the hierarchy of human needs, humans will have that innate thing to be with each other, help each other, that we call love. And so that's it for this video. This is what I've learned. This is what I want to share. In the next video, which is kind of the last of where I go in and just look at these things, studying them, I'm going to go over what I call the scientific part of all of this. It is the kinesiology. I'm going to look at Reiki in love. I'm going to look at what's called the love vibration. There's a frequency of love, and what is that frequency? There's so many different things, just where love and different parts of science and nature come in. Let's just put all of this together and see if we can kind of wrap all of this up in this pilgrimage of love and see if we can't find a way to start using this to accept ourselves and love ourselves more. And with that, I am grateful.